Your brain is stupid. Okay? If you remember nothing else and take that with you. You probably all have a spirit that you really dislike. Something that you had so much of at one point that now you just can't get anywhere near it. You might even actually have internalized this as part of your personal narrative. The story of who you are. My mother, for instance, she did not touch rum for 15 years. Rum, the entire thing. To me, that's completely ridiculous. And this interests me so much. At one hand, we so readily indulge in this ethanol. It's toxic. It's dangerous. It's flammable. It's an aggressive solvent. But we drink it because the reward processes in our heads are so rewarding for us, namely the adrenaline and the endorphins released, and I'm going to get to that. They're so powerful that we overcome this initial fear response. As a punishment, our brains are then going to single out those times we overdid it and keep us off that permanently. Don't touch that. I have an idea. I have a thought. We can change. We are malleable as humans. Nothing is set in stone. Okay? Your likes and your dislikes do not define who you are. Rather, you define them. Anything you hate can end up being an obsession. I have an obsession, and my obsession is basically what's behind the curtain. What's inside of things, how do they work? We're going to talk a bit about that today. We're going to talk about the two different brain systems we have going. We have the old one, the lizard brain, the stupid brain, and we have the very clever brain, the frontal cortex, and all the intelligent stuff, the intellectual stuff. We'll talk about that, okay? Now, you're going down a jungle path, light spots through the canopy, very nice. You're a monkey, by the way. Did I mention that? And it's a long time ago. This is going to make sense. Stay with me, stay with me. You're attacked by a saber-toothed tiger. It's biting you in the face. It's very annoying. It's called Brad. Brad the saber-toothed tiger. Very annoying thing. Now, it's going to scar you for life. Physically, saber-tooth, but also in here, the lizard brain we get. The fear response now is the next time we need a drink of water. Now, we had to go down that path, but we don't. We're going to take a longer route around it, because that is connected with fear now. We don't go there. We might know intellectually that there's an academy for saber-toothed tigers, and they're very well educated, they're nice and vegetarian, some of them. And Brad, we don't know him. He might have had a bad day. You stepped on his school project. It doesn't change the fact we're going to take another route. The brain is stupid. It's horrible at decoding cause and effect. I call this the Tequila Conundrum. Very clever name, I think, myself. I'll explain that. We could go have a drink in the tavern of our minds. We're going drinking now, all of us. We're starting with wine in the afternoon before dinner. Nice white wine, chilled with champagne maybe. Life is too short to not drink champagne. As we sip the champagne, ooh, very nice vintage, we start relaxing. Relax. Ethanol to the mind is almost indistinguishable from oxytocin, the love drug, the hog hormone. It's what releases in the brain when you hold someone you really like. The alcohol, or the brain, basically can't tell ethanol and oxytocin apart. So the effect here of relaxation, of joy and trustfulness will make you often do stupid things. Let's have some dinner. We should go have dinner. Nice place, maybe some steak béarnaise, red wine with that. Yes, please, sounds nice. We're drinking that. We feel happy. Now, ethanol in the brain releases what's called opiate endorphins. There's a study from 2012, an American study, that shows that because the ethanol molecule is very, very tiny compared to, for instance, THC, the ethanol molecules will enter a much broader range of centers in the brain. So the happiness is much more complex than, for instance, other compounds that will make you stoned or high or very dancy-kissy. But we're getting loud now. Waiter's getting angry. Let's get out of here. Go to a pub. Get some pints. That's a great idea. Gin and tonic for me. Well, this is a great night. We're doing fine. We're still slightly disheveled, but it's going great. Waves of adrenaline released by the ethanol in your brain. People react very differently to adrenaline. Some people will get very angry and very fighty, and other people will get crying, and some people just get very sort of, yay, dance now. And other people shout, hold my beer and watch this. And some of that ends in ambulances. We're moving on now. The night is still young, someone says. It's 3 in the morning. We're going to a club now. You're just standing around with a very colorful drink and the umbrellas falling out of it in the club. And your speech sensor is slurry. And your motor control is failing. And the synapses connecting to your memory sensor are flickering like shouting into a microphone that's not connected to anything. And then out of the mist of the smoke machine comes some idiot with a tray of shot glasses and the dreaded 4:30 war cry, tequila! You're going to wake up tomorrow morning feeling like someone died in your mouth. And you're thinking, I'm never drinking tequila again. It wasn't really the tequila that did it, was it? That's the idea here. The human mind is fickle. Okay? What happens in the brain the morning after drinking is that the emptiness of chemicals, like a void after a tsunami, will be interpreted as sadness. Okay? So the brain connects the sadness with the tears on your pillow, the hangover blues, as we call them. They're there. And this emptiness is interpreted as sadness connected with the pain in your stomach and your eyes. And the brain will connect that with tequila because that's the aftertaste you have. So now we've connected a link between the aftertaste of tequila and this horrible, horrible morning. And just like Brad on the jungle path, tequila is now something dangerous to be avoided. That's a good thing. See? The brain remembers things. It locks things in your mind. And it will warn you about things that made you sick in the past. So this is great. But the brain does not know that we've evolved to a point where we readily indulge in toxins for their mind-altering effect. We weld metal to our teeth. We cut up our skin and pour ink into it. We throw ourselves off of aeroplanes for the adrenaline surge, for kicks, to get lucky. We're done with the lizard brain. I'll swiftly move on to the intellectual brain. Basically, we're going to talk about how we can use our minds to make Brad less scary. We take it as a rule of thumb that it takes about 10 nice experiences to override one bad one. Does that mean you have to sit through 10 sessions of tequila shooting? No, it doesn't. Drinking is a ritual. It's a social ritual, yes, but it's a ritual mainly. And shots make you drunk because of the very high concentration of volatile ethanol thrown at your brain at a very high pace. So, if you take one thing away from this, apart from the fact that your brain is stupid, then intake is all that matters. The pace of the intake is all that matters. Different ethanols do not make you different drunk. Ethanol is ethanol. It's the same. But we drink it differently, that makes us different drunk. This is, amongst others, why we have cocktails. If you, for instance, take your dreaded tequila, you throw some lime, some orange liqueur at it, and then suddenly we have a margarita. It's light, it's refreshing, it's cold, it's a summer afternoon in a glass, and we can sip it nicely. For the last 2 years, very aggressively, I've worked with akvavit as a cocktail component. If you don't know this, akvavit is the traditional Scandinavian spirit. It's getting sort of trendy in the States and stuff, because I don't know why, but it's great though. It's kind of like gin. Danish people going, what? But it is, technically, it's kind of like gin. It's made more or less in the same way, but where gin is flavored with juniper, Akvavit is flavored with caraway or dill. Very unlike gin, we traditionally in Scandinavia drink it in ice-cold shots in magnificent plenitude accompanied by pickled food, which very, very much makes akvavit our brat on the jungle path. My aim then is to say, can we regain that land? Akvavit is our historical spirit, so can we regain that land? Can we reclaim akvavit from the claws of remembrance? To be really poetic about it, I say we can. By using cocktails like this, we can change the focus of the flavor. Caraway can be focused on the tropical notes, the dill can be focused on the fruity notes, and suddenly you can use that to override those initial fear responses. And you'll find yourself enjoying something that you thought you'd always hate. I find myself truly, honestly enjoying Rød Aalborg, sipping it like fine whiskey. Might be a bit mental, but what could we possibly mix into a caraway akvavit? Well, we have to look at the components, like when we look at how the brain works with all the science and the stupid lizard brain. We can look at things and we can take them apart, and like Neo suddenly seeing the world in ones and zeros, the world falls apart into chemistry and interconnectivity, and that's how modern food science work, that if things look the same, then they fit together and then they taste well together, like bacon and vanilla ice cream. It's true, try it. Caraway is fairly simple, for instance, if you say that one. Consists of, I'm going to be swift about this, it consists of two main flavor compounds, limonene and the broken down remnant of that called carbone. Imagine you cut an apple in half, leave it out on the kitchen table, it'll turn brown, right? If you are slightly gutsy, you will try and eat it. Oh no, it's brown, I can't eat. Yes, you can. Because the flavor changes as well. It gets sweeter, the acidity breaks down, and it develops nutty flavors as well. It's fairly interesting. That's called a hydroxylation. And that's what happens to the limonene compounds. All right? So, carbone is shockingly common. It's almost everywhere, because it's what happens to, for instance, lemons when you allow them to sit overnight. If you peel a lemon because you needed the peel for the frosting on a carrot cake, and then you left the lemon in the fruit bowl, and 2 days later you wanted to make dessert and you needed the lemon juice for that one, and you notice that, this lemon juice tastes funny because you've broken the membrane and you allowed the oxygen to enter the juice, and the oxidization starts and triggers the hydroxylation, and the limonene in the lemon juice breaks down to carbone. Simple, isn't it? So when we know that, then we also know that very closely related to that, we find menthol. Because menthol is what happens if the bindings on the limonene are slightly different and they're called something else, and we only have 18 minutes. But so you have the menthol over here, and you have the mint family over here, and the carbone is right here in the middle, and we've got the freshness. And so mint and caraway, yeah, fantastic. So we do a akvavit and tonic, and add a sprig of mint to it. Double effect, tastes really nice. Breaks the sort of initial carbone, oh no, Uncle Toby. And then it looks good. And everyone is going to go, I want the one with the mint in it. Because we're sheep like that, and I love it. What else can we do? What else? Carbone. Where do we find it? Oh, look for the limonene. Cocoa beans. When you may remember that sort of citrus flavor in cocoa beans, that's limonene talking. So we take that, and then we ferment the cocoa beans, and they become chocolate. So caraway akvavit and chocolate is a fantastic mix. So why not just take some chocolate liqueur and caraway akvavit, lemon and sugar, and whoopsie, we have a fantastic drink. So am I talking about alcohol? Yes. But only in the sense that Moby Dick is a book about catching a whale. Okay? What you hate is not given. What you fear is not constant. Try and call Brad. Call him up on the phone. Hi, Brad. How are you doing? Sorry, I stepped on your schoolwork. Want some help? Maybe get to know him. Start hanging out. Someday he'll allow you to pour liquid chocolate over him. We are malleable, each of us. And we are, as humans, worth so much more than allowing our fears to define us. Thank you.